Welcome back to a Book a Day podcast. I am back after a long break and I'm ready with more stories, more books for you. Today, what I'm going to do, and this is what I'll do in the next couple of episodes as well, I will narrate to you short stories from Mulk Raj Anand. Many of you might be familiar. He was a great writer, novelist, short story writer from the British Times of India. And he wrote these short stories almost a century ago. So, without any delay, let me narrate today's short story for you by Mulk Raj Anand. The short story is called Lullaby. Here we go. Lullaby by Mulk Raj Anand. Sleep, oh sleep, my baby, sleep. Oh, do not weep, sleep like a fairy. Sang Falini as she rocked her little 1-year-old Surajmukhi in her lap while she fed the machine with handfuls of jute. Would he ever go to sleep? Sleep, oh sleep, my baby, sleep. His flesh was so warm. She could feel the heat of his little limbs on her thighs, a burning heat which was mixed with a sour smell. He must be ill. All day he had not shut his eyes. All day he had sobbed and cried. The engine chuck-chucked. The leather belt cup-cupped. The bolts jig-jigged. The plugs tick-ticked. The whole floor shook like the hard wooden seat of a railway train. And she had to go on feeding the gaping mouth of the machine. Baap re baap, why is this bitch barking? The sharp-tongued woman who sang folk songs could brook no one else singing, called to the other women. Sleep, oh sleep. Falini felt her throat growing hoarse with the jute fluff she had been swallowing since she had let the fold of the apron rag with which she ordinarily padded her mouth and nose in the factory fall loose. The fluff seemed to be everywhere, on the walls, over the machine, on her face. She could feel it screaming down her nose, her cheeks, to the silver ring round her neck, which was green with sweat. She cast her eyes over her nose and felt how ugly it was as it stood out from her hollow cheeks. That is why she had pawned her big silver nose ring with her mother-in-law had given her in the dowry, and refused to adorn her nostrils even though it was a bad omen to take off your jewelry. Oon, oon. Surajmukhi cried. The sharp, feeble cry stirred the black night of Falini's soul as the air stirs the water, but the child's voice was drowned in the dithyrambic hum of the preparing shed in the factory. Sleep, oh sleep, my baby, sleep. Oh, do not weep, sleep. She sang, bending over the child's head, till she almost touched the feverish brow and kissed the close-fisted hands which Surajmukhi was rubbing on his eyes even as he cried. And then she threw another handful of jute into the jaws of monster. Her own voice sounded to her like the whisper of a broken reed, completely out of tune today, as it had seldom been out of tune when she rang the work song. Roller, roll, spread jute, open mouth, rise jute, fall seeds, work into cloth. Her big troubled eyes roved away from the child to the gaping mouth of the machine, beyond the black, greasy bolts and knobs and pistons, above the fumes of the thick, sickly, tasteless air in the shed. The engine chuck-chucked, the leather belt cup-cupped, the bolts jig-jigged, the plugs tick-ticked. The whole floor shook like the hard wooden seat of a railway train. She felt giddy. She had felt like that 5 months before she had given birth to a child. An oily taste in the mouth with a bile under the tongue that seemed to go quivering into the swollen pitcher of her belly and bring the entrails up to her throat. But the quickening under her navel and the memory of her lover's face seemed to offset the nausea. She tried to think of him now, as he had looked when he first came down from the northern hills. The wild, waspish boy with large brown eyes, which had flashed when he had talked to her husband, Kirodhar, but which were so shy when he looked at her. Surajmukhi's eyes were like this, exactly like his eyes. Also, Surajmukhi's limbs smelt like his. But he would never know that he was the father of her child. Why, he was a child himself. He had come like lightning and gone like the thunder of the northern hills. Where had he gone, she wondered. Had he only come to give her the pang of parting? Where had he gone? It was now summer again, and he was here last summer. For days she had scanned the horizon of the sky above the city towards the north in the direction where he had gone. But he did not seem to be anywhere in the large breathless space. Only Surajmukhi lay in her arms, and the sun, after which she had named the child, stood high. And the tears rolled down her scalded face to her chin across her cheeks before she realized that she was weeping. Oh, where was he, the gay child, her lover, her baby, so simple, so stubborn, so strong? And I shall grow old and grieve, not Kirodhar shall be my lord. The child moaned. The engine chuck-chucked, the leather belt cup-cupped, the bolts jig-jigged, the plugs tick-ticked. The whole floor shook like the hard wooden seat of a railway train, and she had to go on feeding the mouth of the machine. "Baap re baap, what is the matter with the brat? Can't you keep him quiet?" said the women next to her. Falini saw him as she had seen him in a dream one day, standing by her side, smiling to her so that she had wanted to clasp him close to her breast. But she had stretched her arms towards him. She had suddenly wakened and found herself groping in the dark towards Kirodhar, who had thought she wanted him and had taken her. He must be somewhere in the far-off hills. Doing what? Wandering, perhaps, happy and free, while she was caged here with her child. She bent down to look at the child. His eyes were open. His face was still. He cried no more. That was good. She could feed the machine with more jute. Sleep, oh sleep, my baby, sleep. She sang and she smiled at him and rocked him again. Surajmukhi's eyes just stared at her, rigid and hard, his little eyes. She swayed on her haunches and left the jute. The effigy lay still, dead. She gave a long piercing shriek which tore through the ceiling. She slapped her cheeks and beat her palms on her breast, crying in a weird, hollow voice, "Hi, hi." "Baap re baap, why is she crying, this bitch? What is the matter with her?" said the woman next to her. "My child, my child, my child," Falini cried, crazed and agonized as she tore her hair. The women crowded round her. "What is the matter?" the four women called. "Why are you bitches running amok?" The engine chuck-chucked, the leather belt cup-cupped, the bolts jig-jigged, the plugs tick-ticked, The whole floor shook like the hard wooden seat of a railway train. And that's the end of the story. How beautifully it captures the pain of a mother. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll come back, as I said, in the next couple of episodes as well. We will discover more of Mulk Raj Anand's short stories. Thank you very much for listening. I will catch you the next time.